Black Christmas is a horror film that came out in 1974 that's directed by Bob Clark. So Black Christmas was actually last month's subscriber poll winner. It was October's subscriber poll winner. And I was just incredibly late on it, unfortunately, because of the horror film festival and me making my own horror short film. So it took me a long time to get to it, but luckily it's also a Christmas film for obvious reasons, so it's still within the season. It's always really interesting to note that the director Bob Clark, who directed this film, Black Christmas, also directed one of the most popular family Christmas movies, A Christmas Story. And obviously, these two films are the most polar opposite approaches to Christmas filmmaking you can imagine. But after watching Black Christmas, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Because I went into this film kind of expecting just a dumb fun slasher film. And in certain ways, it is like a dumb fun movie. But at the same time, it's actually a genuinely good movie. There's actually plenty of elements to this film that I consider to be great filmmaking, mostly having to do with the vision behind this movie. Because I actually think in terms of the editing and the camera work and just how certain sequences are put together, actually have quite a bit of personality to them. And the creativity that put this film together is what, to me, elevates it beyond just a dumb, fun slasher movie. Also in combination with the fact that the screenplay written by Roy Moore is actually not that bad either, because usually when it comes to these horror slasher type films, there's all these moments of downtime that most people just kind of wish would hurry up so we can get to the more, horrific and graphic element of these films. But the downtime to this film is actually not that bad either, because either the characters or the interactions are humorous, or there's genuine moments of character building and character substance that are being fleshed out or established that, are interesting and engaging. But again, mostly for me, what makes this film stand out are the stylized choices that we see throughout the film. And I think the style to this film and also the structure and concept played a huge part in inspiring the most popular slasher that there is, which is John Carpenter's Halloween. And in terms of style, one of the most notable similarities that a lot of people tend to bring up is the opening shot sequences in both Black Christmas and Halloween, where you have this first-person perspective of the actual villain of the film as we see them stalking their soon-to-be victims. But on top of that, one of the obvious ones is the fact that they're both seasonal horror films. Obviously, one's on Halloween and one's on Christmas. And I'd actually argue that Black Christmas is a bit more of a bolder slasher horror film, because having such morbid and horrific content taking place during the holiday of Christmas is a lot more riskier and controversial than having it take place during Halloween. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to devalue Halloween in any way, but I think Black Christmas deserves a whole lot of credit for not only inspiring the most popular slasher film ever made, but also just for being so boundary pushing. I mean, even just the phone call scenes in this movie, especially the first one that we hear, I was kind of shocked at how far it went with its grotesque type of language. I was just like, damn, they're really going far with this, and I didn't quite expect that. And even to like the phone call scenes in general, like even though, I've heard some people saying that the phone call scenes are absolutely terrifying and super unsettling. I mean, I personally didn't find them all that unsettling, but there are moments that are definitely creepy. And even if I wasn't as unsettled by it as other people were, I still gotta give a lot of props to the sound design and the people in the studio that really made it happen, because not only does it sound, again, just very off-putting, but in terms of technicals and the personality that's brought through these phone call scenes, I think does deserve a lot of credit. I mean, obviously, there's going to be tons of people that watch these phone call scenes and they're just going to laugh at them because they're incredibly immature, and anything that remotely makes them feel uncomfortable, they're going to laugh at. That's the beauty of horror films. They really bring out the best in people. And beyond the fact that this film does deliver a decent amount of shocking and graphic kills, even just the suspense building is arguably more impressive than the more graphic moments in this film, because the suspense building and the tension that's established throughout the film, I think, is very engaging and very effective. And again, it's pretty much all due to the fact that the personality behind the camera, in terms of the way that the camera moves, in terms of the stylistic choices, like the first person perspective that we get throughout the experience, it just really keeps the audience on their toes and makes it a much more unpredictable experience. And I believe there's actually one fake jump scare in this movie. There might be two, I don't quite remember, but the one fake jump scare that I do remember in this film was actually utilized decently. And I'm a person that just absolutely hates fake jump scares in general. It's incredibly difficult to pull off a fake jump scare, because in modern horror films, a lot of the time, they'll just use a bunch of fake jump scares in the first 30 minutes of the film. But here with Black Christmas, there's no fake jump scares at all that I can remember in the first 30 or 40 minutes of the movie. It isn't until somewhere in the halfway point where we get one fake jump scare and you don't necessarily see it coming. Like, it's actually kind of effective. And honestly, I don't even really remember a loud sound accompaniment to the scare, so it's possible that's not even a fake jump scare. It's possible that it might just be a great subversion of expectation. And there's just one scene in this film that is possibly my favorite slasher scene ever. And it's basically, again, due to just the style and vision, but it's a scene where there's a murder going on as it kind of cross-cuts between these carolers outside as they sing, "O Come All You Faithful." And just the way it juxtaposes these two things together and cross-cuts between something that is supposed to be so innocent to something that is just so grotesque and awful, I think is excellent filmmaking. And again, that's why I said that I feel like this film is much bolder than a film like Halloween, just because of the fact that, again, it's having this playful sense of irony with a holiday that is deemed so innocent and combining such morbid content with it. It's just something that to me is really admirable, and I'm glad that it wasn't afraid to really go far with its concept. And also, I really love the conclusion to this film in terms of what happens to the villain. I'm not going to spoil it for you and tell you what it is or anything, but again, it ends on a note that I think, again, is quite bold and might leave a lot of people unsatisfied. So I'm going to give Black Christmas a solid 8 out of 10.
Oh, come, all ye faithful.
Yeah, at first I was thinking maybe a solid, a strong 7 out of 10, but the more I sat with it and the more I recalled everything that occurred in the movie, the more I kind of began to appreciate it and enjoyed it for what it was. But that's all I gotta say about Black Christmas. If you really enjoyed what I had to say about the film, please give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film-related content.